Alright guys, so here she is. Pretty much cleaned up from what she had looked like. Fuel tank. That thing cleaned up pretty good. A little bit of dirt still left right there, but it cleaned up really good. Move out of the way, set that over here on the old Honda. Okay, so what I'm going to work on right at the moment, I didn't have very much simple green, and I didn't get to go out and get any because I wasn't supposed to be out running around. So I pretty much used what I had mainly on the engine to get the majority of the dirt off of that, but I mean it came pretty clean compared to what it had looked like. I know it's hard to see because I got it pushed up here, but I mean, she did come fairly clean. So I will be getting some, and it'll be getting another pressure washing. I just mainly wanted to get the majority of the dirt off. So now what I'm going to do, take the air box off, which it looks like it's just going to be 3 bolts. 1, 2, and 3. So I can get that pulled off the carburetor. And there's the carburetor. And then I'll take this clamp loose here and get the carburetor out. I had pulled the throttle cable, pulled the throttle apart, and I don't think that the cable was froze up. Because try hard to do one-handed. If you move the lever, the cable moves. I think what it is it's froze up down in the carburetor because the choke lever, this does have a choke lever right here, and it's froze up. It won't move either. So I think everything is froze up down inside that carburetor. So I'm going to work on getting that pulled off, and we'll go from there. I'm going to get it pulled off for right now and start working on getting that apart. So I'm going to set you up here, try to set you up right here on the four-wheeler, on the Honda. I don't know how well you're really going to be able to see. You're not really going to be able to see anything that much, but at least you shouldn't shake right here. Dropped off. Wrecked my fire. Really? Oh, there we go. I got it figured out. is. A lot of these hoses are dry rotted, or not really dry rotted, just hardened up. So I'm definitely going to have to get some new fuel line. These are just overflows. Man, just had a little bit of something come out of there. Some old gas and that Chem Clean stuff. Tried to get that as best I could with the pressure washer to get a lot of the dirt from away from it. It got the majority. Whew. Nah, it's old gas. You can smell it. I don't think he got all the gas out of the carburetor. Man, this little boot that goes over top of this thing, it's still in good shape. There we go. Huh. Wow. Yeah, that unit is stuck down in there. Huh. I don't have any carburetor cleaner. I'm going to try a little bit of this brake clean. I don't really want to pry around on this a lot, but I have a feeling this is the only way I'm going to get this out. It tried to move a little bit, but man, that thing is... Oh, it's froze up in there. Huh. More old gas coming out of there. That's probably brake clean coming out of it. Let's see if I can get the choke cable loose. So that's loose too. Man. It sure does look like there is some, looks like there's some corrosion down in there. So this carburetor might be junk, might have to just buy a new one. I'm gonna try spraying some PB blaster. Try spraying a little bit of this down in there and see if it, maybe let it sit overnight, see if it does any good. Woo! Shot that everywhere. Probably just gonna have to let this sit here overnight. I'm gonna try to get some down in that choke. Alright, so that's going to be it on this one. I'm going to let that sit overnight and then I'll come back and look at it tomorrow. I got to go back to work tonight, so probably what I'll do is I'll go inside there and I'll sit down and look at, because I did see when I was looking for the carburetor that you could actually get a carburetor, or I'm sorry, a throttle cable. You could actually get a carburetor and a throttle cable. It's not OEM, but you know, if it works, it works. See, price one of those, see how much that is, and we'll go from there. So I'll bring you guys back. Who knows when? Alright guys, so I can't get the throttle cable out, I can't get the choke cable out, everything is froze up. I've tried soaking this thing, PB blaster, all kinds of stuff, some different carburetor cleaner, and it's junked. So take a look, I got the bowl off of it. Yeah, that jet right there should be brass. I mean, it still is brass, but it don't look like it. Let's look at the bowl. And that's old gas, and it really, really, really stinks. So, anyway, I said I was going to order some parts, and I did, and believe it or not, they came in today. Let's take a look. Got me some new bits. These are hex key bits. They'll actually go in my little ratchet that I got. And you got metric and standard. Can't wait to try those out. But here we go. Moose Racing got a new air filter, oil filter, and a new NGK spark plug. That all came as a kit. I think it was like 26 bucks off eBay. Just put in, Kawasaki Bayou 220 1990 model air cleaner, and this popped up. Simple. We got the choke cable and the little components for the inside of that, and boom, new carburetor. It's I guess it's I don't know if it's Niche Industries or Niche Industries. I say Niche. Carburetor assembly, original equipment quality. And I tell you what, this thing actually almost looks identical to the original equipment. It did come with some extra jets. So the jets that are in the old carburetor, I'm going to have to try to get those cleaned up and see if I can see what number they are on them. Or I'll look in the climber manual here and see if it gives me any kind of a recommendation, or I might just have to play it by ear and put it on there and take it back off and replace, do whatever I have to do. But yeah, this thing came with all your drain lines. Has a new slide in it, needle. And actually, get out of here. It's hard to do with these hoses on here. Where the choke goes right here, I wasn't sure because in the description it didn't tell you if it came with the new slide and these little pieces right here, your needle and your spring. Well, guess what? It does. So I didn't need to order these. I'm not going to send them back. They weren't that much. Got spares if anything, but yeah, that's what we got so far. And I'm hoping the throttle cable will be here tomorrow, and then we'll get started putting it back together. I really need the throttle cable to throw on for the choke cable, so I'm not gonna worry about that. Also, I need to pick up some new fuel line for this thing too. Some of this line right here, I'm like, I don't know why I couldn't use that as fuel line, but I'm thinking about putting an inline filter also from the tank. So I'm probably just going to run over and get some fuel line and pick up an inline filter. And then we can try to get this stuff back on here and get this unit fired up. I will check the oil and stuff. I've got to pull the choke cable loose here. Once I pull that loose, then carburetor will be totally free from the machine. And but yeah, I'm gonna scrub on it off camera and just take a wire brush to it and see if I can't get it cleaned up and try to see what the jets are, and if not, then I'm going to refer to the manual there and see if it tells me anything. Being on the East Coast, I know it's going to be different than if you're on the West Coast. So, but yeah, that's where we're at right now, and we're coming along. We're getting the parts. That's the main thing. And I am going to make sure that I get it running. I still got to drain the oil. Of course, do a valve adjustment. I'm probably going to put a little bit of oil down in the cylinder. And even though we have pulled it over and it cranks over smooth, probably put a little bit of oil down around in that piston, down in the spark plug hole. So get around the piston and just crank it up and down a couple times real slow. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. But I'm going to work on this carburetor, like I said, just scrubbing on it a little bit. Try to get that, see if I can see what those jet numbers are. Alright guys, so I messed around with the carburetor after it sat for a little while, and I was able to get the slide out, both slides for the choke and the throttle. So yeah, I'll show you the slide here in a second. Here's the choke needle. It's going to focus on it. Pretty rough looking, so I'm glad that came with new pieces. The slide, don't mind my vice grips that I ruined there. The slide, yeah, she got a little damage getting her out. But you can see, bring it over here, the color, you can see where it was stuck. But yeah, I ended up having to pry it, but it did come out. So luckily the new carburetor has that with it. And we got our throttle cable today, which I already switched this boot over. And then of course we got our choke cable. So we got everything here for the fuel system. Something else I went ahead and did, and I didn't video it. Pulled the spark plug out, made sure it had sparkles. I cranked it, I put a jumper box on it, cranked it over, still got sparks, so we're good there. Also, while I had it off, I shot some just some 10W40 motor oil down in the hole before I cranked it over, and so that way it'll lubricate the rings and the cylinder a little bit. I really didn't want to crank it over because that oil that's in it, I'm pretty sure it possibly has some gas in it. But I just cranked it a few times so we could see if we had spark. So next thing we'll be getting go ahead and getting the oil drained out of it, getting the old filter out of it. I have to run over to Walmart and get some oil. I don't have enough here. But yeah, she's coming along good. Also looked up online on Babbitt's online parts, the O-rings for the valve cover caps and also for that oil filter cap, because I have a feeling once I take those loose, being that as old as what they are, they might not seal back good. These, you can see there hasn't been any oil leaking around them. Try to get you a good shot of it here. So that's a good thing there. But also looked up the timing cover, upper timing gear cover one, because I can see that it has been leaking oil around it. So I got all of those priced. They're going to be, I was thinking around $21, $22 for all of those. And then of course tax and shipping on them, it's probably going to put it about $30 for those, but maybe a little more than 30. Because Babbitt's, their shipping is a little bit pricey, but it's easy to go on there, find what you need. You got diagrams, you can pull it up, get it, order it, boom, it's here. And they're out of Michigan, and they'll have your stuff here. You'll usually get it within 3 days. So that's a good thing. I was kind of looking this thing over, for just glancing at it as I was doing for any other issues, and so far I haven't found anything. This bracket here was bent down a little bit. I just bent it back up in place. I'd say it's probably where my dad rolled it. But yeah, everything else looking pretty good. I need to look in the book too and see what weight rear end oil it takes. See if I have that or if I need to pick some of that up. But yeah, she's we're moving along with it, slowly but surely. We'll get her back going. I'm not going to rush it because I want to make sure it's good for Dylan. I don't want there to be any problems or anything that could harm him, you know, something's not fixed right or done right. So all the steering good and tight, works smooth, everything, yeah, all that's good. So yeah, we got a good piece to work with. Just hoping she'll fire right up. Hopefully I won't have to change the jets in this carburetor. Excuse me. Like I said, you know, it comes with extra jets, but if we have to change them, we have to change them, bottom line, but hopefully we won't. So alrighty then. Guess we need to get this fuel system put together. We get the cables put together, everything put together and put on there, and get ready to stick this unit back on the 0220 Bayou. Alright, let's get this throttle cable and choke cable put on here. There's your new slide, needles already installed. So all we got to do is run the cable down. Fits in that little hole. Of course, we got to run it through the cap, through the spring, just like that. I went ahead, got that put on there. You know what? I ought to just make sure that this is the same length as the other one, just to make sure, because you never know. That one's made inside of that. These are made a little bit different. Huh. Well, we're just going to have to see if it's going to work, because the stock cable is actually probably about 3 inches longer. Well, we'll just have to try it and go from there. If it's not right, then I'll have to send it back. But it says it was a direct replacement for it, so I guess we'll see. We'll see what we'll see. And there's also a little clip when you slide this up on this notch right here. You slide that on that groove. There's a little clip I have right here that I got to figure out how that pops in there, because that holds that in there. And I think that's it. Oh. There we go. Can't come out now. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so we got that. Now we got to put our spring on, and you got to compress your spring. Make sure that seal is up inside of the cap. We'll put that in like that. You let your spring go. And that's got everything captured. So then now this groove, there's a little notch. And it's probably hard to see. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. But there's a little tit that sticks out inside of there, and you just run this down and it slides right down on that. And the hole, that keeps it going one direction. And there you can see it's down inside of there. Then you got to just push her down and get the lid screwed on straight. There we go. That should be plenty tight enough. And one thing you always want to make sure of, you can pull on the cable and you can see the slide moving. You know, you got an adjustment here as well as here. So when you hook this back up to the throttle, you know, your thumb throttle, you want to look at that slide and make sure that it's not lifted up like that, because if it is, the first time you start it, it's going to go, or if it's all the way up, it's going to go wide open on you. So after you put it on there, you have to do a little bit of adjusting before you start it up. Alright, so we got throttle cable on. I'm not going to slide that down on it yet, just in case I have to take it back. So now we'll take off for the choke cable. To reach. Oh, I dropped my pliers. Alright. Pull that out. I got my spring. Let's see, let's go ahead and see if the choke cable is the same length while we're at it. Choke cable's good. I don't know if you can see it all, it's all the same length. So we're good there on that. Now like I said, this cable still is good, but I did notice where it run through on part of the frame, like a little wire holder to hold it in place. It's got wearing through the sleeve. So we're just going ahead and put new ones on it. Alright. So this has already got a rubber grommet on it. It'll feel good over that. It goes up over it, but I don't know. I don't know if I like that one or not. This one here's got a little tighter fit. Yeah, it's snugger around the cable itself to keep from letting moisture and stuff in there. So we're going to go with that one. And we just got to run this through here. Put our spring on. Now the one thing I see I don't like there is the spring isn't holding it tight. Like there's slack in it. And there's no adjustment on the upper part. Unless it's just, okay, by the lever. When I hook it to the lever and put it into the bracket, it's going to take up slack on it. So we'll hold it up a little bit. Yeah, that's slid down. I can see through one of the holes right here. It's all the way down. Got that snugged up. Pull down our hygrometer on top of that. And there we go. Cables are all hooked up, so that'll be ready to stick on. But I think before we do that, we're going to do the, like I said, we're going to do the oil and stuff first. So, basic part of this is hooked up, ready to go. I'll set it to the side. I need to look in my manual. Stay over there. We'll find out what rear end oil this takes. And if you have little extra pieces like this left over, little rubber grommet, save them. You never know, you might use that for something else. Let's see. Let's go to the front here. Rear axle suspension final drive, chapter 11. Oop, there I was right there at it. Here. This is talking about the rim. Let's find the, here gives you a diagram. Gives you good pictures of everything. Spring preload adjustments, all kinds of stuff. I mean, these climber manuals are invaluable if you're doing something like this or you like to do your own maintenance. Shows you how to take the axle out, the drive shaft out from the engine, how to disconnect all that, everything. Should be getting to it right here. Rear axle suspension final drive. Actually, I might have to go to the lubrication section, is where it'll probably give me what? Oil. Yep, chapter 3, I gotta go right here. Drain final drive unit oil described under final drive unit oil change in chapter 3. So let's go back to chapter 3. Here's 3. And I'd say it'll probably be here towards the end. Because there's the engine oil. Shows your drain plug, where you take your filter cover off, everything that's inside of that. Yep, here's the rear end final drive. So let's see. A hypoid gear oil. So see table 6 and 7 for oil type and oil quantity. So where is table 6 and 7? Got to give a table in here somewhere. Oh, excuse me. Here we go. Right here towards the end of the chapter. Table 6, recommended rear final gear case oil. A hypoid gear oil of SAE 80 or 90. And it gives you below 5 degrees Celsius or 41 degrees Fahrenheit, or above 5 degrees Celsius, 41 degrees Fahrenheit. So either an 80 or a 90, and I think, if I am not mistaken, I believe I have some either 80 or 90, either one. So I'll have to check my cabinet. So yeah, we're good there. Yeah, this has everything. Torque specifications for your valve adjusting, screw lock nuts, engine oil drain plug, wheel nuts, rear final drive, oil cap, drain plug, spark plug, 20 Newton meters on the spark plug, or 14.7 foot-pounds. This is nice information to have. It makes it so much easier. I need to find my little tabs here so I can mark. I have these little Post-it. They got sticky on one end of them. I just use them. I'll stick it in the book, let it stick out there, so that way I know where to refer to for different things. But it also had, I was noticing when I was skimming through here, you know, your valve adjustment right here. Your timing, cylinder head timing mark. Yeah, I mean, it's got, shows you here in the crankcase what you look for to line it up when you're doing your, adjusting your valves. So that'll come in handy also. We're going to mark it. We'll mark it with a green one. If I can get one off here. That one there don't really have any sticky on it, so we'll put a new one. Alright, so I'll check to see if we have that gear oil over there before we run over to Walmart. And the engine oil I'm going to run in this, I was by our local bike shop yesterday, And I didn't pick up any of the Kawasaki oil. It's like $9 a quart. I'll show you what I've been running. I've been running this Valvoline ATV UTV 4-stroke oil, and it's the same oil pretty much. I mean, I know when I worked at the bike shops, we would get it in 55 gallon drums, and you know, it would say on it Valvoline or whatever. But yeah, this stuff right here is just as good, and it's actually a lot cheaper. It's like 6 something a quart or 7 something a quart, or right at $7 a quart. So this is what I'm going to pick up. A couple more quarts of this. This is a full quart, and I'm not sure how many it takes. I know it said to get about 3 quarts. I know it doesn't hold that many. It's probably like 2 point something. So I'm going to get some more of that. Probably going to swing by the Tractor Supply and get the fuel filter and some fuel line. Yeah, that'll get us going. Heck, I might even be able to have it. Well, not might. I should be able to have it fired up by this evening. And I've got this neat little tool that I bought off of eBay, of course. You can see it. Bandsaw tools, I think is what that says. But what it is, it's a little external fuel tank. You screw your lid off, put some fuel in it. It's got an on-off valve. Sucker stiff. Haven't used it yet. Just plug your line into your carburetor. Put you some fuel in here. It's got milliliters on it. You can measure out how much you want, and use that like a fuel tank. To, you know, if you're working on it, you got to have the fuel tank off of it. Use it as a little external fuel tank. So we'll use that when we fire it up, so that way I don't put too much gas in it. So yeah, so we need to go. There's something else in this bag. Oh, that was in extra pieces. So we'll hold on to those just in case we need them. That one did have a longer spring in it. If I need it, I can change out that spring. Alright, so that's going to be it for now. And bring you guys back when we're ready to do some more. Alright guys, so we're back. It's the next day. And carburetor, I got the throttle housing on there. Went ahead and got that put on. Carburetor is ready to go. Picked us up some fuel line. Just picked this up at Tractor Supply. It's 1/4 inch inside diameter, 5 foot length. Picked up a little fuel filter, go between the tank and the carb. And went over to Wally World and picked us up some more oil. So now we got 4 quarts, which I needed some extra for the Terex anyway. And it got me another can of WD-40. So we got that stuff. I had the book out here looking at it. For the oil filter. It does have a shaft that goes through the oil filter. The oil filter does not have a marking on it whether it goes one way or the other. And I had to look in here and find out what size socket or wrench it took to get that off, which is a 17 millimeter. Grab the air filter out of here, or sorry, the oil filter, and the spark plug. Okay, so the goal for today is already got her set up over here. Got my drain pan. I'm gonna drain the oil out. Get the oil filter out. Put the new spark plug in it, and then we're gonna get the carb on, and hopefully get this thing fired up today. So that's the plans. We'll just have to see how it goes. Hopefully I don't run into any kind of issues. The only issue that I am anticipating possibly having is right there. That's where your oil filter is, and there's an O-ring on the back side of that cap. This thing is pretty old. That hasn't been off for a while, so if that doesn't seal back up and it leaks oil, then I'm going to have to order a new O-ring. Which I'd already been planning on ordering new O-rings right here for the valve cover caps, and then the timing gear cap on the other side. So it's going to be hard for me to set you up to where you can see taking the drain plug out, which isn't that exciting. It's just taking the plug out, letting the oil drain out, and then taking the oil filter out. So I'm going to get you set up here where you can see best you can, and we'll go from there. Alright, sorry if it's a little noisy in here, but I got the air conditioner going, the fan going. It's a little stuffy. So we're going to get started here and get this stuff changed out. It should not be that tough coming out there. She got a little bit of gas in there. Oh no, didn't want to do that. already made sure that the gap on the new spark plug was correct. And when NGK does their plugs, they're gapped, and it was dead on. It was inches. It was .024 to .028, and this one was exactly on .024. So it's good to go. we're going to spray this cap out with some WD-40, clean it a little bit, or some brake clean. Just getting it all cleaned out. Okay, all should be ready to go. Alright, oil filter's in. Spark plug's in. Now we just need to add some fresh oil. Still dripping oil just a little bit. I let it usually go as long as something's coming out, I'll just let it keep going. Alright guys, that's it for this video. This is a long one. This one's going to be like an hour, 18, 19 minutes, something like that. So, I did get the oil put in it, and it is ready to have the carburetor put on it. Then we should be able to fire it up. But that's going to be the end of this video. Part 3, we'll fire it up. So, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Leave me a message. Do something. Go fix something. See y'all.